everyone, and welcome back on the Decod3rs channel. Tonight, it's a special stream because first, it's going to be hosted by VP, and we are receiving, we have as a guest like Annie and Aladdin from FatCats Capital. Guys, how are you doing?
Yo, good, man. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, man. That's a pleasure, man.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, no, that's exciting, man. Like, I can't wait to continue our a New York discussion here.
Hell yeah.
That was fun. Obviously, thank you, VP, to introduce me to the team because, it's probably the first project that you were aware in, and then now we are doing the show.
No, Wastelanders was the first project I was aware in.
Okay, that's special.
But yes, I am a whale in FatCats as well.
Let's go. So you're going to MC this stream. I'm telling you. I'm following you on that.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
Hi. It's so nice to see you guys again. So I guess for those people who have been living under a rock in CT or the Web3 community, let's go back to the beginning and how FatCats came to be and why FatCats came to be.
Yeah, no, for sure. Basically, like how it started, it was almost like 10 months ago now, when actually more, almost 11 months ago now, when we launched, May 31st of 2022. We actually started the development on the project. Like we first had the idea and really started working on it about probably like 6 or 7 months prior to that. We saw everything happening in the Solana ecosystem, and right after Degen Apes, we saw everything that was going on there, and just everything the possibilities that it sort of presented. And so Aladdin and I got together with a couple other people, and we started the project and started really defining like what our idea was going to be, and really figuring out how we could fill a gap within the ecosystem and provide some value. And then, we launched about 11 months ago now, and it's been a pretty crazy journey getting here. We're really excited for what's to come.
Absolutely. So, let's just talk about this really quickly, which is something that I always talk about. You're still here, like 11 months later. There are a lot of projects that are not. So, congratulations for that. I would say that you definitely are kings of the pivot, because we've had a couple incidences in crypto and in Solana and Web3 in general, and unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? It seems like a lot of big events for FatCats seem to be timed right around some of the big Black Swan events.
Oh yeah.
I actually joked in we have a group chat, and I actually joked in there that maybe you should start selling your services as Black Swan callers, because it was literally like the 4th time we had something. But you're still here even with all of that. So let's just talk about what the initial idea is, how it's been going, and then where we're heading next.
Yeah, no, for sure. You want to take it?
Yeah, I'll take it. So obviously, I think most people know us as the accelerator. Kind of we were one of the first projects to introduce the accelerator concept and have an incubation service for upcoming projects. We saw that was a big void that needed to be filled within the ecosystem, and that's kind of what we centered our project around during the time of launch. And the way that we were planning to provide back value to our holders was through catnip mints, and we did that for a few projects, and it went pretty well. But what we saw was that quickly capped our floor price, because that utility perception and that perception of I can get this many mints, which will translate to this much SOL, which is why I should buy this many cats and at this price. It kind of caps your floor value, and we saw that was really limiting of our potential, because that's kind of all that people saw when they thought of FatCats. That's not what we wanted to be perceived as. We wanted to be perceived as a project which yes, was going to provide value to its holders and also obviously incubate projects because that's our whole focus. But we also wanted to be seen as this community which you could be a part of and be like involved in many different cool things and be meeting a bunch of different cool people and also like, just networking and growing your own presence within the space through that community. And so we wanted to kind of shift the focus away from that whole idea of just catnip mints and that's all you can get out of FatCats Capital. And that's kind of why we're going to transition through our art upgrade to a new kind of vision for FatCats. And we'll talk about that more over this podcast. But really, that's why we kind of decided we needed to pivot and we needed to change what we were doing because it was very limiting and very like kind of like narrow-sighted. And we needed to kind of broaden our horizons. And through that, we think that we can grow as a project and as a community and provide more value to Solana. And so like we'll speak more on what kind of direction we want to go with this art upgrade, because we don't see it as just a different kind of aesthetic for your cats. Obviously, the art is important, but we see it as a much broader vision where we can have holders really translate how they feel about the project and what they think the project is about through the art. So the art communicates that rather than just being a showpiece for the NFT.
Okay, and so my first question will be like, how do you grow your own community, like when you want to incubate and like basically launch project, when you start initially with that idea? It's kind of tricky, right? Because again, you have to grow your own community and push also like other projects in the same direction, starting from scratch. That could be like tricky. It's kind of like, chicken and eggs, right? Like, because you can push other projects if you have a big community yourself, but while doing it at the same time, it's like you're trying to basically like do the job twice, 3 times, 5 times, because you have to start back with a new team, a new project, a new idea, like all the time. So that's tricky.
Yeah, no, I mean, like we definitely realized that, like, sort of as we like grew as a project and grew as like a team within the space. And it's funny when Epiphany sort of mentions the Black Swan events, because it's kind of crazy. Like, it seems like every time that we have something like big coming up, whether it's a big launch with a project or whether it's I don't know, a big announcement or something happens. Like, I remember like right before one of the first projects that we decided to launch and incubate launched, the whole Magic Eden 0% royalties took place about like 2 or 3 days right before they were about to launch. And then FTX happened, and then everything else. And so we've really realized that the space is always changing, and you sort of need to be able to change with it in order to continue to be competitive. And with what we have planned and everything that we do have coming, I think we're going to have the ability to do that through like this really strong foundation that we're going to be building, and be able to focus less sort of like on market cycles while having like a continuous hopefully like a profit mechanism to be able to funnel value back into the project that isn't just these catnip mints that it was initially.
Okay, so breaking the curse of the utility project being the flop, right? That's cool.
Yeah, so
okay.
one other way, one other way we're planning to do that is through Lynx, the software company that we're developing under the umbrella of FatCats. So we'll speak about that more, but that's kind of what we want to transition the utility focus towards. And obviously the FatCats Capital collection will be the beneficiary of success of Lynx, but it'll kind of be a transition away from FatCats as the utility play rather than like Lynx, which is where all the developments will happen, all the software is going to be built, and all the utilities will be provided through. So we'll speak about that more, but that's kind of one of the ways, along with the art upgrade, we want to transition the focus from a utility perspective to more of a community-based project.
That's cool. Yeah, so basically, with you're gonna have like a new season with like you have the
FatCats 2. It's here already.
Hell yeah.
So okay, I might be speculating a little bit, but from what you just said, and it might also be because of the way I met you, the elephant in the room is you're all Decods.
Okay.
So I'm just from what Aladdin was saying, it occurred to me, like, are we turning FatCats into more of a flexing project and Lynx is the utility?
But you want that. You want to flex.
I'm
I
asking
think
the boys, not you.
I think a good way to sort of think about it, and something like the sort of analogy that we give is like FatCats is going to be sort of like the proof of concept for everything that we're going to be
Yes.
building, and so anything that we create through Lynx, we're going to be creating that for FatCats first, and then potentially selling it on to other projects and users. And so we're working on a lot right now, in terms of actual like development utility for projects and projects that we're going to incubate, as well as like upgrading our existing launchpad to state of the art CM3 with raffles, every utility you can think of, to be able to attract more clients for that. And then also the external software that we're going to be creating for projects and also beyond the NFT ecosystem itself. And so FatCats, what the PFP and what the NFT is going to represent everything else that we're doing. And by knowing that you're a part of this community where you're able to be a part of FatCats and benefit through everything that Lynx is doing, but then also benefit through everything that FatCats is going to be doing itself, because like the project isn't going anywhere, and our holders are always going to be our main focus. And so all the value that we're going to be able to accrue is going to go right back into the project to be able to give that value to holders back, through a variety of different mechanisms. And I mean, cat and mints aren't going anywhere either. Everything that is existing is still going to be there, but we're just going to have the ability to do a lot more. And FatCats, the NFT themselves, is gonna represent all of that.
Nice. I love it. Did you have a question, Hitler?
I have a lot of questions, but
Okay.
yeah, you can continue.
No, you please.
No, I
After
mean,
you.
like, yeah, okay. So, like, what you are doing, like your roadmap for the next couple of months and then like this year, is that based on what you have learned, like building like this season, like the first season of FatCat, and like take the conclusion of what you learned? And so, yeah, what did you learn during this last 11 months? Oh, Ed, okay, another question. What are you going to do for your birthday?
All right, that's something to think about.
Oh,
Actually,
wait, when's your birthday?
May 31st.
Hey.
FatCats, at least.
Oh, FatCat's birthday. I thought it was.
FatCat's
yours.
birthday.
Sorry.
Yeah, like,
I
yeah.
missed the trick there.
Yeah, so I'll talk on what we've learned.
Yes.
It's been a wild ride. I think the first thing obviously is what I just spoke about before about the utility cap.
Mhm.
That was a very important lesson for us, and I think for a lot of other projects that are coming to the same kind of realization.
Yeah.
And I think it's good that we get the realization now rather than later, because honestly, I think a lot of projects, including us, are kind of starting to realize once royalties disappear that like really you can only keep up the hype phase of the project for so long, and you really need to focus on getting a consistent revenue stream outside of royalties and outside of like anything which can be derived just through marketing and hype. Although those are very important, you need separate kind of revenue streams, which is what we're going to do with Lynx. Another thing we've really learned is the fact that your presence within the space, not just as a project but as like founders themselves, it's very important, because really prior to kind of maybe this year, I think a lot of founders were anonymous and they weren't doxxed. So it was a different era of NFT projects. It was more of a mystery kind of like hype lore based NFT projects, which took like the spotlight. But now you're starting to see that people are really like rallying behind founders themselves, and that's really bringing a lot of conviction to projects. It's really not so much what utilities the projects offer or what like direct monetary value they're offering to their holders. It's more like, can I resonate with the founder? Can I resonate with their vision? And if so, then like, I'm down to like invest and then just like be a part of the journey, right? Yeah. Because no one really knows where NFT projects are going because it's such an early industry, it's such an early space. And so really, I think that's the most important thing, to get people behind your vision. And to do that, you need to be doing more podcasts like this. You need to be doing more AMAs, more, just more interaction on Twitter, on Discord. And I think we're getting better at that, but we still need to improve. So that's one of the biggest lessons. I think Henry can probably add on to it, but those are the main few that I've learned.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not a huge advocate for doxing or not doxing. I don't think it really makes a difference for me personally, because I mean, I guess I heard you speak. You guys came into a clubhouse. I heard you speak and I was like, these guys are smart. It had no bearing on me what you were like IRL, really. And it never has. Like, that I got to meet you IRL has made it that much more amazing, but like it never had any bearing on me. And I actually, when I was on ETH, I started on ETH, a couple of founders got threatened. So I actually was kind of anti-doxing because I just didn't think it was worth it for them to be in danger or their families to be in danger for that. So that's something that, I mean, I think visibility in the space, like on some level, like I started doing Twitter spaces. I don't know why. I don't know how that came about, but like that's how I upped my visibility and I started getting offered things or approached about things like wearing people's PFPs or, you know, whatever it was. But yeah, no, I think visibility is definitely important. Whether you dox or not, I'm not sure. Like the jury's out for me personally, but like that you're doxed is great. But do you feel like it's been a huge shift since you doxed?
I don't think it's anything, for me at least, I don't think it's anything like too massive. Like, I don't think myself, like personally, I was never too worried about it. It was just sort of like what you did in the beginning. And it wasn't necessarily something that we were really focused on. We were really focused on like growing the project and letting it speak for themselves or speak for itself. But I think like sort of what we did realize is that people want to be able to sort of follow someone. And there's a reason that like founders have a following and that their projects do well if they do have that following. And so people want to be able to sort of trust where they're putting their money and being able to invest in people who they believe in. And so going to events, for example, like NFT NYC that we went to, or doing things like these podcasts, or we did Mark Holzer's podcast, stuff like that. It's just like sort of getting your vision out there in a more like personal way. I think is something very important, and it's something that we're definitely working on, and trying to continue to do and meet more people and grow our own networks and meet people within the space and do things like this. Because it's honestly, it's fun. I love like meeting people and doing things like this. I think it's great and being able to be a part of the ecosystem. But then also it's the best sort of marketing for your project because people want to invest in people that they believe in. And that's sort of what we're trying to be and trying to be a fully like reputable project doing something good for the space and really trying to push the space as a whole forward, not just trying to like pump back.
Exactly. And it's a beer market, right? So there is no better moment to take a break and chit chat about yourself for 1 hour. It's cool.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Exactly.
But
and you can try lots of stuff. I constantly tell Butler, you can afford to fail a few times in this bear market because tons of people are failing worse than you. Anyways, yes, you had a question.
Yeah. So also, like, you know, with like again, like the paradox with like the utility project where the community is like asking, oh yeah, what's the utility of your project? Blah blah. You just high project, but then when you had utility, then you're gonna cap your floor price to X sol. So then like people are, oh yeah, no, we're not mooning. Blah blah blah. Fuck it. Is that like a sign of maturity in a way where we basically like all NFT projects are turning into like SaaS? You have your subscription and your NFT project is basically like a startup Web 2.0, and instead of paying your subscription every month, you hold an NFT and hopefully your subscription pass will increase in value or not, but at least you can use like a tool that is provided by the startup / NFT project. Is that for you like a sign of maturity or?
Yeah, I can get this one, and then like Aladdin, you can probably speak on it as well. I think NFTs themselves are so interesting because it's like initially it was a way to like sort of like for people to raise money for whatever they're trying to do, whether it's create a community or whether do something like that. But I think that's changed, and I think we've really seen it change into these NFT projects become communities, and with the money that you're able to raise from the mint, I think hopefully you're able to create something that does have value, whether it's value for your community through the different events you throw, merch, stuff like that, or if it's through creating an actual secondary entity or a company or some sort of product that you're able to make money from. And so with that, and with like the initial utility that we did have for FatCats, it was, we have connections in the space, we have the ability to help develop projects and then provide catnip mints for our holders. But with that, it's changed, and then we want to move away from that. And something interesting, I think, like when you're talking about like all the other utility projects, is I think not too many are around anymore. Like there have been so many projects that launched since we did, even, that are no longer here, and they had some sort of utility and people bought them and they thought that it was going to go to 100 SOL, and then now they're just non-existent. They're either selling or they're leaving or whatever's happening. And something that's interesting with us is, like, even though we've been through all these ups and downs and we've been through all these changes and there's been all these like different things that have happened, our community is still as strong as it was when we began, if not stronger. And it continues to grow and it continues to get stronger as we bring in more people. And that's our goal, to bring in more people and grow our community and have it as strong as possible. Because I think at the end of the day, that's the most valuable thing you can have as an NFT project, is that community and the different things that you get from being a part of that community. And so in terms of like your question, I think our goal is to really grow like our community aspect from where it is now and where it is already strong into something much larger, while still creating this revenue positive business sort of like on the side, that we're going to be able to funnel project profits back into the FatCats project itself, while still supporting the Solana ecosystem with the initiatives that we're taking.
That's cool. And like personally, like, did you had like a hard moment when you was rethinking like, yeah, should we give up or just keep going?
I don't think we never really had a moment of should we give up, but I remember after FTX we had a big meeting.
Yeah, I was sweating too, bro. Like when we were like around $8. Whoa.
So we had a big meeting with the existing team that we had, and we were basically like trying to figure out like, yo, like what the fuck do we do now? Is everything going to zero? Is this space even going to be around in a month? Like Solana's at $8, NFTs are tanking, and fucking even Decod3rs went to like something like 150 SOL from wherever they were at. Like everything seemed like it was like the end of the world. And sort of what we realized is like, we were just like, okay, let's just like take a step back, sort of see how this plays out, and then reformulate our roadmap and figure out how we can actually take this as a positive and benefit off of it. And I remember like the day that FTX happened, actually, I was with Aladdin, and I was walking somewhere, and he sends me a text, and he's like, yo, you need to come home right now. Like we had all of our treasury on FTX. And
shit.
He's like, yo, you need to come now. We need to like move this shit like to a ledger. We need to fucking like get it off here. And so that was about like a couple hours of just like trying to get transactions off. Bitcoin's transactions got halted. We had to convert to USDC, get it off. Like that was a crazy moment. But yeah, after that we sort of just took a step back and really had to like reformulate our roadmap and really reformulate sort of what the value is that we're going to be providing, because things change and the space changes, and so we needed to change with it, and I think we have, and I'm pretty proud of sort of where we're going now.
Yeah, to add on to that as well, I think something that's overlooked by a lot of people is how projects manage their actual treasuries. But I think that's like something which is not super transparent with a lot of projects. And then you kind of see them just like fade away, mostly because they run out of money. Like, so we've actually talked to a bunch of projects, like in terms of our acquisition side of things. And like, we've actually learned that like a lot of projects were just struggling because they had no more money. Either they had their money in FTX, had it in SOL from like the very top, and just like, you know, the capital losses just hit them hard. So like, I think that's something which we've done extremely well, is manage the treasury. And that's like mainly the reason that we're still around, right? Like a lot of projects don't make it this far because they don't know how to manage their funds. They don't know how to be like risk averse when needed. And like, yeah, like taking the money out of FTX, I think was definitely like a stroke of luck, but also like it's a matter of just, you know, being tuned into the markets and being tuned into like into the whole like space, and knowing like when to be risk averse and when to like, you know, back up what you need to back up, like in terms of like the funds, because I think a lot of projects don't have that person or that like team to oversee that, and it's like it's a very important aspect of a project.
Yeah. And that is something that I've discussed, like when people are like, I don't really, and you know, I'm just going to be transparent, I don't really understand why you're still bullish. What have they done? And I'm like, I am in that Discord every day, and I see, and they post about what they're doing with with the Treasury, which I consider our Treasury, and it's always very smart and clever moves. And like
what?
Huh?
Like what? Define clever move.
No, you're not putting me on the spot.
Oh, okay.
Like for example, like when we minted, I think Sol was like $41.
Yeah.
We converted to like USDC, and then like a month or two later, it was like $8.
Let's go.
Right,
Did you bought it?
And then, you know, like it's just like things like that. Like obviously there's some luck involved, but also like it's a matter of just like not taking unnecessary risks.
Did you buy the dip?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Not like perfectly, but like, you know, we've been buying kind of.
FatCats owned the Decods for a while. We don't own it anymore. I don't.
Yeah, we also sold that before like tanked, but now it's
Yeah.
I think it's above that, but like
But,
When you can't wait all the time.
Exactly. But no, I mean, we were all privy to all of the financial moves, and like I don't know who was paying attention or not, but I was paying attention. And I mean, let's just touch on you know, no shade to anybody, but let's just touch on the fact on your major acquisition, the Launchpad Ape16Z, that only minted in November, right? Like, and I mean, I had whitelist for that, and just at the very last minute, I was kind of in a zone. I'm kind of still in the zone where I was just very fatigued from minting, and I didn't really understand. Like, they came to my space even, I think, and I didn't really understand what they were saying. And I don't know if it was my fatigue or the way they were explaining it, but I never really got that it was a Launchpad at that moment, to be honest with you. It was it felt like it was coded language. So for you to then say, oh, we've acquired this Launchpad, I was like, but they haven't, what? They haven't, they're done? Like, but also to acquire the best Launchpad out there, AutoSec audited, everything just kind of handed to you as a package. Incredible.
No, that was pretty crazy, and that sort of happened right after we formed this like FatCats Ventures wing of things, with the executives and with everything there, and so I mean they came to us, and I see someone in the chat saying shout out Sphinx as well. And so they came to us, and basically like we'd been talking with them before they minted, because they were trying to sort of do something similar to us. And so we were just in talks with them as partners and whatever it was. And so one of the founders came to me and basically said, hey, like we can't do this like anymore. I know like we just minted, but like we don't have their mint didn't go as well as they thought. They didn't have the funds to be able to take it on. They spent a lot of money on this Launchpad development initially, like before they even minted. The AutoSec audit alone was in the six figures. And so it was a pretty huge deal for us, and then we managed to acquire them for a very good price, and we were able to acquire all their assets, acquire their community, acquire the Launchpad itself. And that's something that's going to really be able to give us an advantage as we're moving forward, because this Launchpad's so good and because we're redeveloping it into something even better. And so that was like our first major acquisition. I remember it made a lot of noise. A lot of people are very surprised that we acquired them. And yeah, it's been pretty crazy. Even just like bringing on their community, and sort of providing them some sort of value with what they have and with the burn, and being able to upgrade to the new collection. It's been fun, honestly, and it's been, I think, something that we're pretty proud that we did.
And that's pretty cool. And how does that play a role in your FatCats too?
Yeah, so, I mean, you want to?
Yeah, so it integrates with Lynx, our software company. So the Launchpad will be one of the services that we provide, along with like an incubation and then like a tech side, which we're going to have different facets of software to be built. So like I'll explain that more in a bit, but like, yeah, the Launchpad will be one section of Lynx, and that's going to be one of our revenue streams. So we haven't formally introduced Lynx to the space yet. We're still working on a branding kit, and we're still working on exactly how we want to present it in a professional and like proper way, because we want Lynx to be, the development team we have behind Lynx is one of the strongest on Solana. They worked with Oogie to fix the reveal mechanism, and like it went pretty well. And they're extremely talented, and we have a very good relationship with them. So we're getting them on board, and like we want to push Lynx as one of the premier software companies on Solana, because we have the tools to provide like excellent services to our clients in terms of launching, incubation, as well as the software which we're going to build out. I think we spoke a bit about it in New York. The main thing we're working on is like community management, like gamified software. So we don't want to speak too much about it, because like we're still in the process of development, and we don't want to give away our secrets. But like
that's why you're here, bro. That's why you're here.
I can give it away to you in private. I think we spoke about it, but I don't want to, say too much, because
this was the thing of trying to get people.
We're very excited about
alpha on the air.
Yeah,
but that's how
we will try again.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right. There's so much to talk about, and I have 2 questions from somebody who sent them on Twitter earlier. So let's go back to ventures versus FatCats Capital. So feels more like less what's the word I'm looking for? More action-based ventures than just capital. It's kind of like, we're sitting around collecting passive income at one stage, and now we're going into ventures where it feels like there's going to be more, more buying and selling or trading or something, So tell us a little bit about the idea behind FatCats Ventures.
So FatCats Ventures was something that we created sort of after this whole FTX thing, and it's something that when we had those meetings after, we realized that this is a potential opportunity for us, because we realized that there was a lot of projects out there with existing communities that were strong or had like some sort of assets that we were going to be able to potentially take over and benefit our project, because we were in a better standing. And so obviously we acquired Ape, 16Z, as well as Sphinx, Underground Society, as the first 2. And we've been approached by quite a few more, but they don't always necessarily make sense in terms of acquiring them, because there is a liability that comes with acquiring a community. And if the benefits don't outweigh the liability there, it obviously doesn't make sense for us to acquire them. And so that whole ventures wing is something that we created and in partners with the executives, which are people who hold more than 30 fat cats. And we sort of give like UV Epiphany. And so we give these people who are the executives, who are people who have the most conviction in the FCC, the ability to co-invest with us in these ventures that we take. And so, for example, with the Ape 16Z acquisition, we gave the ability for our executives to purchase one of 25 NFTs that represent a share in the Launchpad itself. And so each NFT actually represents a 1% revenue share in the Launchpad. And so then anything that we make from the Launchpad itself and for forever into the future, you'll be entitled to 1% of those profits. And as we scale and as we launch more projects, that could potentially be quite valuable. Like, I mean, for example, Soulport in their peak and over the bull market, they raised over $6 million off their Launchpad alone, Soulport. And so you have the ability to be a part of that to the executives, as well as other ventures that we may take. And so, for example, with the software they're creating, we're potentially going to offer another executive collection for holders, executive holders, to be able to co-invest in the software itself, offering a potential ownership in Lynx, and we're still working that out. But there's different things like that we offer our holders through the ventures wing. And who knows, maybe more good projects are going to come along. We've been talking with a couple really cool ones and just figuring out exactly how that's going to work. But we obviously have a lot going on right now, so we want to make sure that we aren't doing too much. But still being able to fulfill this ventures wing and provide that value for specifically executive holders and as well as the larger community.
Yeah, one other thing about the acquisitions, which is more of a longer term integration with what we want to do with Lynx. It's I don't think a lot of people are aware of it right now because we haven't really talked about it much, but like a lot of these acquired projects and their communities will be very useful in the software that we develop, not only as like a beta test, but also as like an initial preview to the Solana community of what like this, for example, this gamified software is going to be and how communities can interact with it and how it can like improve and enhance the overall experience for a holder in a project. So like a lot of these acquisitions, obviously they have a lot of assets which can be valuable to us, which is why we're doing the acquisitions, but they'll also tie into what we're doing with Lynx later on, and then that'll be showcased to the different software we build because they'll be one of the first projects to actually use the software and like showcase it to the community.
That's pretty cool. And like, how do you see like all of those components like increasing your like holder count, like growing the community? How like people from the outside will perceive all of those moves into valuable asset to own and like increase growing your community?
Yeah, so I mean, with each acquisition, if it's a NFT project, for example, there's a community that comes along with it, and then so with Ape 16Z, for example, there was around 4,000 total NFTs in that collection, and that's so cool. we are offering them a 2-to-1 burn to this new FCC2 collection that we're going to be dropping hopefully shortly here.
2-to-1? I thought it was 4-to-1. 2-to-1,
2-to-1 for that.
Amazing! I have 4.
There you go. You're gonna get 2, and also with the Sphinxes, because like they were quite a bit lower in floor price. It's an 11-to-1 burn, and so like that's another like I think a couple hundred NFTs that are gonna be coming from there. But it's sort of like we want to increase our community size because we want to be able to have that larger community and have close to a 10K collection. Because by having that larger community, it allows us to do a bunch more. And so with those acquisitions, they sort of play a role in that, in increasing that community size. But we also want to be able to bring on new holders. And so if someone from these existing communities, maybe they like what they're seeing in the FatCats community, they'll go and pick up a FatCat. And then we'll be able to increase our holder count in that way as well.
Yeah. So, I forgot what I was going to say, but it was really exciting. No, so I've gone completely blank.
I can get it.
I'm sorry, you go.
Yeah, and all of those acquisitions, like right now, like what's the state of your business? Like, are you profitable and like sustainable? Like, is that works the way you wanted?
Yeah, I think so. And like we don't actually have too many like a lot of like negative what's it called, liabilities right now. Okay. In terms of like things that we are paying for and then just burning the treasury through that, we've been very careful. The majority of our cash and like the reserves that we have is actually going to the development of this software and being able to build that out, and we expect that to be quite profitable, and so it's just we're investing in ourselves and focusing on really growing that into something that's going to be very cash flow positive.
That's nice.
Yeah, like so in terms of like revenue, the royalties are like basically like non-existent at this point.
Yeah.
But like I think that's what we're gonna do with the software. That's why we want to launch this, because we want to have that consistent revenue stream. Because as of now, we're operating like very lean, and I think that's the way to go at the moment until we have consistent revenue stream. Being brought through Lynx, because you can't really rely on royalties. You can't really just rely on launching another collection just to to raise some funds. So like that's why we want to have like a lean structure at the moment, and then we'll be expanding our team aggressively as we get the revenue streams through Lynx, and that's how we expand and try and grow our brand and presence like at a very aggressive rate once we get to that point.
Okay, I wrote down everything I wanted to ask. So even though you're a small community, we're super fucking loud. Because and I can say this because
you love yourself.
My Twitter yeah. No. Because my Twitter today, I must have gotten like 56 like between likes and retweets. It was so heavy today. And I always retweet whatever space we're doing, whatever interview we're doing together, and literally never seen it my phone blow up the way it did today, to be honest with you. And it was all cats, and it was all people saying, can't be there, but I want to know this and I want to know that. So, I mean, for a small community, it's very, very powerful already, as well as, I guess, I mean, the thing that we can see, even with a small community, is that really cliche, your network is your net worth, and like, obviously growing it would be dope. So I guess one question I have though is when you acquired Ape16Z, yes, you acquired that community, but did you acquire any other holders from that? Like people being like, oh wow, they're onto something. Did you see any of that?
Yeah, so I think so, and I think you can sort of see Ape16Z holders in our Discord chat every once in a while, and then there's a couple of them that are just as active as some FatCats holders, and I know a lot of FatCats hold apes now as well. I think like with any acquisition like that, you're gonna have people who aren't necessarily too happy because one, like they don't like change. They had an expectation on sort of like what they were expecting to buy and what they were gonna buy into, and when that changes, people get not scared, but people like don't necessarily like understand it all the time. And so I think we've acquired some of their strongest holders and some of the people who really like the vision in terms of like what we're doing. But we also didn't necessarily expect people to come in and open arms and be like, oh my God, we love you guys. Like you're our savior. Like that's not what we expected from that. We knew the tech that we were getting and we knew the assets that we were going to be acquiring. And we wanted to provide that value for holders in the way that we're doing through this burn mechanism and everything like that. But at the end of the day, like we're trying to merge everything into this one FCC collection and have that community be the strongest one. And if you don't want to do that, that's there's nothing we can do, and we just want to do it to the best of our abilities.
Yeah, I just want to add as well, like in terms of our community, like we're extremely grateful, of course, and I know it's a bit cliche to say, but like I think a lot of projects like kind of take it for granted because and I do sympathize with a lot of holders because you buy into a project and you just want it to moon, right? Of course, but like, you have to understand that there are constraints, and like at a certain point, you will need to pivot. The project will need to pivot away if what they're doing isn't optimal for like themselves and also for the holders. So I think at the time where we kind of announced that we were going to not shift away completely, but also like put our focus towards building a more sustainable like business model rather than just incubation and accelerator mints. A lot of people were upset about it, of course, but there are also a lot of like our core holder base who are still with us right now, who are understanding and like appreciative of the fact that we were able to kind of see that and kind of see the need to move away from this, because like in the short term, obviously it hurt our project, but I think over the long term, people that are still with us right now understand that like given the constraints that we have, there needs to be a point where you kind of focus on the longer term vision, because we are in a bear market right now, and like I think if you optimize for certain things and you optimize for the long term, in terms of how you're going to be building out your business, then it really does pay dividends once once liquidity flows back into the markets and once things are in a better spot than they have been recently.
Yeah, and like it's kind of crazy like to think like NFT is basically like the only market where like you offer a service and the best feature of your product need to be like my customers need to make money out of my service too for them to use it. It's insane. It's crazy. But like, it's probably like the only industry. That's why it's so exciting. Like so much exciting. It's so exciting because like, like what we're building right now, it's like another off. And like, we don't know where we're going, but we're going somewhere. We all try to build something that makes sense at every level. And that it's fascinating, honestly.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure.
Yeah.
There's some there's some comments in the chat, but I want to get to this guy's question because he asked it earlier on. He wanted us to talk about the art upgrade, which we did, but he specifically had questions about design decisions and choosing new traits. And did you take, I guess, user feedback throughout the development process?
Yeah. No, we really did. And we made sure that to take sort of holder feedback throughout the whole process. And so we were able to create, I think, another like 30-40 traits for the expansion of the collection, and a lot of those actually came from holders. in terms of what they wanted to see, as well as like the one-of-ones. We were able to create a lot of one-of-ones for what holders wanted to see as well. And obviously we haven't promoted any of those yet, and like no one has seen them yet. But when you do, you're going to be able to see that your the things that you said were listened to.
Medium, please.
Yeah.
I think I saw a little flash of something, and I think everybody will be very happy.
Yeah, so in
Maybe.
terms of the design as well, I can speak on it. We're really trying to go for a specific theme within the collection. I think it's very important for different projects to have a certain theme. So we're kind of going with a more like businessman, like kind of classy vibe for the cat. So I think you can see that in the persona themselves in terms of like the structure of the actual cat, because it's more moving away from a cute kind of vibe which we have going right now, which I think a lot of people like, but also I think it is limiting because it doesn't really appeal to the majority of people. And I think like a more classy kind of vibe with the character and the clothing is what we're going to go for. And like that's what our plan is in terms of having that resonate with the actual business behind FatCats and the business behind Lynx. We want to have those two kind of in sync and kind of have people resonating with their PFPs. I see you're like a bit upset.
I got some beef with this whole discussion
no
because there are no female cats, but that's not even the problem. There are a couple of things I want to touch on here. Number one, I remember when, like, you know, you were one of my first projects, and I remember everybody carrying on about what was it? It wasn't left facing. It wasn't right facing. What is it? What is it that it's supposed to be? That
supposed to be right facing.
So you were left facing, and everybody's like, no left facing projects ever make it. And I was like, who cares? So that was always really funny because there would always be one heckler in every space you had. Like when we had Cat Tank going on, or if you had an AMA, somebody would come up and be like, what are you going to do about the left facing cats? And it was like, get over it. So that was always hilarious. But I mean, my beef with the redesign, and it's not a big beef, but it is kind of a beef, is I specialized, like Microwave, in naked black cats. So you went all out in the clothing, and my cats don't have any.
They'll still look good naked.
Yeah, they'll still look very good. Don't worry.
Yeah, they're very diesel. Naked. I mean, they're very diesel now. But yeah, no, I've been. I mean, the other thing is that the pickings are pretty slim on Magic Eden right now because I know the execs have been like torn through that collection and trait picked, cherry picked out all the good traits for the upgrade. But so I'm basically at the point where I'm like, I'll just wait till they upgrade and somebody will throw some nice ones out.
Well, the thing is you haven't seen all the traits yet, though. Like we've done a couple sneak peeks, but there's a lot of traits that you still haven't seen, and like even like the floors are gonna look very good. They're not gonna look like sort of they do now. Like there's that one like big ass like wheat looking hat, the big brown one,
the rice patty hat, which is my least favorite trait in Solana, by the way.
So that honestly same. That one's getting out of there. I kind of wanted to keep the salmon, but they made me change that. So
I like the salmon. Anyway. Yeah.
Also, in terms of the design, I want to add, like, I think people are kind of underestimating what the experience is going to be like upgrading. And like I said before, the development team we're working with is the one that fixed Oogie's reveal, and like we saw how successful that was, and like how cool the real process was. So we're working very closely with them. We're going to make sure that the actual process will be like extremely enticing, extremely engaging, and it's going to be like a lot of fun.
Nice.
And like, so I think people shouldn't really sleep on how much fun it's going to be to upgrade. So
no,
that's all I'm going to say on that.
And the upgrade requires fish, right? Dead fish.
Yeah,
for the cats. Yeah,
for the cats.
For the cats.
Makes sense.
I need more, I guess.
You need more fish?
Yeah, I think I have 17 and I have 35 cats, so got some work to do.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna ask another question, but there was another question from this guy. Let me find it. Another question. He had another question on project takeover and how to build trust with a rugged community.
Yeah, and I think we sort of touched on that a little bit. It's not easy, and it's not something that like is there's no like there's no formula on how to do it. I think the only way to really be able to do that is to prove yourself and continue to do what you're doing and providing value for these people who didn't necessarily have it, and then we're in the dumps, and now we're trying to give them some sort of way out with whatever it is. And I think that comes down to really making FatCats the project as good as it can be, because that'll provide them with that value that they might have been lacking in the community that they were a part of initially. But like I said, it's not easy. It's just about us continuing to do what we're doing, and hopefully they're able to see that. I mean, if they're not, then that's on them.
I mean, Zill's in the chat. Did you see that? Forever grateful for Sphinx.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some people are definitely seeing it. And then somebody's put Fat Cats, Big Hands, subscriber. Yeah, I guess you guys have a partnership with Scriber? Is that how that works?
Yeah, so I mean, Scriber is with Tokenomics. That's his community, and we're obviously very, very close with them, and support them and what they're doing, and they support us as well. And we're working on a couple really good partnerships with them to be able to grow, to grow both. So yeah.
No, that was a leading question, because obviously I know a little bit about Scriber, being a Scriber Spaces host now, but yeah. So yeah, but I wanted to make sure that everybody else knew about it. Fiddler, do you have any more questions?
Yeah, like even about the tokenomics of your token, like how do you integrate it with like the new collection that you acquired and stuff, like, because I saw like on your timeline that stacking is going to end. So what next? Are you going to have like cat points? What's next?
Yeah, you want to?
Yeah, that's also something we have to discuss, because so catnip, I think we've talked about, is going to be phased out, and I think people are like, initially they were a bit skeptical of us like kind of phasing out the SPL token, because that's been the center of our ecosystem. But I think with the regulations coming out, with like the developments happening in this space, I think people are realizing that SPL tokens are not the way to go, because like, one, there's like almost no way to provide continuous like predictable utility over a long period of time. It's more like, very volatile utility, and because of that, the value will be very volatile. And I think people have gotten too accustomed to the fact that they could be like passively earning income through the token, which I think is not sustainable at all. So that's what we're going to be shifting away to. With the software platform that we're building, we're going to be building point staking, so it won't just be for us, it'll be for the projects that we work with, and that's going to be integrated with our community management software. So we're shifting everything kind of away from the SPL token and just moving towards points. And I think all the utilities that we build out will be related to the points, and I think it's going to be very interesting to have all these different utilities built out, because the points will have a lot of value, actually. Like, obviously there won't be monetary value, but I think there will be much more utility than could ever be provided through an SPL token like Catnip. So yeah, we're excited to shift away.
But I think, like, because obviously, like, I asked myself the question for like decoders and like the tokenomics of the SPL token and stuff, but like, I think there's still advantages for the project to launch a token, because again, like, people can see as a passive income, even if it's supposed to say that, but like, the SEC is not coming after FatCats or any project anytime soon. So yeah, fuck it reward. But like, after, like, what I don't like is like when your tokenomics are like, infinite supply and then stacking run forever. I'm not a big fan of that, but like, having like, like 30 million, 50 million, whatever, or like for the college, it's going to be like 21 million, because, Bitcoin, it's cool. It makes sense to have a token, because again, like, for the next 6 months, you will have token hype and stuff. And then, like, you flip to a fucking point stuff, and then you do exactly the same thing that the fucking token anyway, without managing the pool. That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
But, so it's like, it's just like, it's different. It's different. It's definitely the same thing, except we don't do DeFi with it.
Yeah, no, I mean it's definitely the same thing, and I think, but
Yeah.
what it does is it one in terms of like security, SEC,
Yeah.
stuff like that's definitely like a potential worry as we move forward
Yeah.
into the future. But then another thing is to continuously like prop up the value of the token is hard for a product to be able to manage.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
And it often ends up in a lot of like wasted cash being put into propping up the price of this token. And I think we've seen that with a couple different tokens out there in the market right now. Without that speculation or consistent cash flow into whether it's an LP or some sort of value proposition for the token itself, it's hard to be able to actually have it rise. And so, I mean, maybe one day Catnip will come back in some sort of capacity, but for right now, and then also for projects that we're going to be signing on to the software itself, we're going to focus on the points and really make it as simple and streamlined as possible with that, while still being able to provide those token functionalities and token value.
Yeah, I mean, like the point implementation is like could be like just a Web 2 features that you add to your website to track it, and then job done. And it's simpler for everyone. Like
everybody gets points though, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You get them at, you get them at the supermarket. You get you get them at TJ Maxx, whatever. So everybody gets it. It's no big explanation needed.
Yeah. But you know, when you stake your NFT and then you go to Jupiter and then you swap to Sol, I love that.
No, I agree. I think that though the problem is that like with the existing SPL tokens which have been successful, I think people don't realize that like the majority of the volume traded and the majority of like the appreciation is from speculation, not actually from the utility itself, right? Like, even like PSL who have like a ton of utility for Forge, most of the actual volume is from speculation, right? So like there's only so much utility you can offer to prop up the token, right?
Otherwise, it's like we are living in the most speculative asset and maybe era of like the last 5 years or maybe even 10 years. Like we are like 10 times more speculative than Bitcoin anyway, because like the market is like 2 years old, so normal. And there is like there is so many shit to do, and like again, like switching from SPL to SPL tokens to points, and even on ETH, like look at the shitcoin season that we have with Pepe, right? Like this shit is fucking crazy, man. Like people are turning like 10K investment into like 7 figures shit show. That's cool, but obviously it's not sustainable. Right now it's over. It lasted 12 hours. But that's why we are in crypto too, right? So just we're all going to end up in jail for activation and shit. But you can always come to Europe anyway. That's fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Come to Europe.
Yeah,
Malta. That's the answer to everything.
Exactly. You need to lose your passport though.
Me lose my passport? I have a European passport.
Yeah, I mean, but like for the US, you still need to pay taxes wherever you are. You don't have a US passport? Okay. That's cool.
No, sir. I just need to lose one document. No
financial advice.
Probably not what we should talk about on YouTube, but
it's fine. It's jokes. IRS, if you watch this video, please share it on Twitter. make some noise.
Oh my God, we're all going to jail. Okay, so hold up. Did we have more questions? I feel like we got way off track. More safe questions? Not really. I mean, I would just like to say that, like, I mean, I've always believed in you, so there's that. But the creation of the exec suite and like that whole, like, because I come from an investor background and I came specifically, I mean, I always invested in stocks, but I really got into alternative investing. Actually, today I had my wine investment guy on my space. But, so I crowdfunded small businesses and stuff. So to have that exec suite and the opportunity to like buy into pieces of projects or the launch pad or whatever's coming next, like that's like my investment love language. So that like really gave me a whole new life in FatCats. Not that I was like, fuck this or anything. I was still buying more cats at the time. But when that happened, it was like, wait a second, now I got to get 30 to be a part of this. And it was like, I went from like, I think 13 to 30 in like a week. Because I was like, I gotta be in that suite. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think once we come out with Lynx and like separate that from FatCats in terms of the software entity, we're going to be able to push that a lot more. And I think we're going to be driving a lot more value to those like launches, because at the moment the launchpad scene is quite competitive, but I think we're definitely going to be able to establish ourselves as one of like the major players with the dev team that we have, with the existing core team that we have, and like with this new venture into Lynx and like that establishment. Because I think when you provide a launchpad, it's not just the service you provide, it's also like the brand which is around the launchpad. So right now it's around FatCats Capital, which is more seen as like a kind of, it's like a cute NFT collection with not like an actual software team behind it and like a proper launchpad team. So I think once we have Lynx as a like distinguished entity aside from FatCats, it's going to help a lot with like client acquisition and client retention. And I think that's why we're really focusing on building out Lynx to like the best capacity we can.
Yeah, that's cool. And like honestly, like this week we saw like Tensor like becoming like the first marketplace and like making more volume that Magic Eden. So yeah, like even if there is competition, there is always a way to become the first of like a launchpad, marketplace, whatever. If you provide a better product, then you are able like to turn the community around, right? So yeah,
exactly.
Or market it well, market it well, because like I always say, I mean, have you been down the bread aisle? There's bread for everyone, and everybody chooses differently.
Yeah.
But there is a number one bread down that aisle. You know, you just have to market yourself well, or package yourself well, or be the best. I don't know, all of the above, but it's possible for anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
VP, I have a question for you. So so first, what are the green flag that you saw in like the Annie and Aladdin's team and the FatCat teams that you like the most? And where do you see where do you want to see the collection in the next 3 months?
Okay, so the green flag, as in not
why do you believe in them?
Because they're fucking smart. I tell you this all the time. That's why I hang out with you. No, they came to Clubhouse, and I was in I'm So Chris's Clubhouse. I did daily TA with him, and I stuck with that because I was like, this guy's smart. These guys came in, started talking, and I was like, they're really smart. And I had this plan, like I had started on ETH, and I bought like one of Chris's NFTs on Solana, but like my plan was like, I think you guys came in probably, I don't even remember, but like my plan was like, I'm not gonna go to Solana till this time. Like, you know, I had an actual date that I was gonna start experimenting with Solana, but I was just gonna focus on ETH. And you guys came in, and I was like, fuck that, I'm going to Solana tonight. So I started figuring that out. And you know, I joined their Discord, I think sub 300. And we went
Let's go.
We went
I remember that Clubhouse. That was very early. That was like literally when they were just getting started.
Yeah.
And then your whole life changed.
Yeah. So yeah, I followed Henny and Aladdin, and whoever else was there. Was Schrodinger there, or was Corleone? Corleone. Oh, I have to message him. The Heat won last night. We always talk about basketball, so I have to message him. I don't know what the Celtics are doing right now. I should check before I message him, though. Yeah, you and Corleone and Aladdin, and I literally went from Clubhouse to Twitter, because I really wasn't on like I used Twitter to complain to corporations about bad service, but I never used it for anything else. I never saw the point in it. I really didn't. And so I literally, you guys opened the door to me being on Twitter as an active Twitter user. And I think that might have been when I joined Discord as well, because I really wasn't on Discord before then. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. They were smart, and I followed them, and it made sense to me from the beginning.
And where do you want to see the collection in the next 3 months, short term?
Not on ETH.
Don't worry.
I know I'm amongst a bunch of ETH maxis here, but not on ETH.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like I still don't like paying like $50 to stack one
Well,
Decod.
it's the life you chose. What can I tell you?
Nope. I follow people.
Yeah. Anyways, so not on ETH. I mean, I want the best. I want I want to see our launchpad pumping. I want to see a ton of new people in the Discord, and buzzing around FatCats, and I want to see Lynx do well. Like, yeah. I mean, not even. I mean, obviously, my bags are, that's a plus. That's a plus if that happens. But like, no, I think it's a really, I hang out in maybe 4 Discords regularly, and FatCats is one of my homes since one of my other homes evicted me.
What?
Who evicted you?
Fiddler.
Oh, with Lenders, yeah, because we sold like the project to another one.
Oh,
Took back ownership of it.
I'm waiting for a burn. I'm waiting for a few burns actually. But do you know? Anyways, I'll tell you after. Just remind me burn, and I'll tell you about another burn I got the other day. But yeah, no, I just like it's one of my home communities, so I want to see more people in there. I want to see us all having fun. I want to see us all winning. And I love these guys, so I want to see them do well so I mean, I just want some greatness. I want to see greatness in the next 6 months.
And
how about that? No pressure.
Another last question for you, V. What could be improved in the project, and true feedback so they can take action on that? I don't want to.
We want to hear it for sure.
Let's go. See, they want to hear it. So what should they improve on the project from your perspective? And on Twitter or in the chat, like if you have any comments for the team,
well, I mean, the Twitter presence could maybe do with a little bumping, but I mean, they're working on other things right now. They're busy, but I'll help you if you need that. I still stand by my statement about the wheat sheaf. I really don't like it.
The what?
The new trade?
The wheat sheaf, yeah.
The new one?
Oh.
Okay,
so you the only thing they need to change is one trait.
I mean, I mean, I don't want to get too like I haven't seen all of the traits. They've only shown me a few. I still think like, I still feel a little bit down bad about my black naked cats, but I'm waiting. It's gonna be exciting. But that wheat sheaf, I really don't like it.
It'll just be like more jacked, but that's okay. It's a good thing.
We've got a couple of female ones that you're gonna have to pick up as well. So
hey, okay, nice. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's okay. I will take it. And again, like on Twitter, like for everyone on Twitter, if you want to raise your hand and to ask any question for any Aladdin or even VPF or myself, you can ask me question too. Do not hesitate to raise your hand. And same thing for the YouTube live chat. We can take any of your question. And we are already over the hours. Sorry guys, we took you like for longer than expected, but fascinating conversation. I loved it.
Yeah, no, it was great. Yeah, I really appreciate you having us on.
Yeah.
And you can
do it again.
Exactly. That's exactly what I wanted to say. It's your channel now.
Okay. There you go.
Oh wait, we should say something about there. It is actually your channel somewhat, because we do have a FatCats channel in our Discord. If you go to the Decod3rs Twitter page, you can find our Discord, and there is a FatCats channel. We can verify you.
Yes.
And it's your home as much as it is our home. So
awesome.
Definitely hop in there and maybe get a whitelist. Maybe.
Yes, because also I sent you on Atlas 3 a request. So if you accept it, then your holders can get more whitelists for Decod3rs too. Because
Amazing.
you know, for
And
every stream that we
you
do,
guys
we got
definitely
partners.
hop in.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will send you. I will send you the link of the Discord, so I can give you whitelist. I can give you VIP. I can give you guest roles. You're gonna collect all of the roles.
Oh yeah, give me all the colors.
Exactly.
Okay. So Vittler has questions that he asks all of the guests at the end.
Yes,
So it's time
exactly.
for those.
Yes. Okay. So that's the last two questions. But okay. So maybe should we talk about like content? Okay. So I have content marketing strategy, multi-chain future, and ordinals. Do you have anything related to that with FatCat coming anytime soon?
In terms of like
ordinals or multi-chain, basically.
ordinals, we haven't thought of yet.
Our devs do have the capacity to work on ordinals. We've talked to them about it, but we don't have any plans.
Yeah. Okay.
The devs actually have been asking us like, hey, do you guys want to launch ordinals? We got the ability to do it. We can do it very well. And so maybe potentially one day. You asked about content marketing strategy.
Yes. So content market strategy. So basically, like where we touch about, we mentioned Scriber. So like, is that part of your strategy to again expand like the awareness of like FatCats Capital? Even if like it's a well-known brand anyway on Solana, but like you always want to do some new content and stuff. So yeah, how does that work? Like, how do you want to expand? Like you also mentioned, like you want to do like more podcasts like this one, etc. Like is that? Do you have a strategy around this content marketing strategy?
No. So we're going to be working very closely with Tokenomics and Scriber to work with them to really up the content game and have some
that's cool.
FatCats representation through all of that. But then also in the lead up to our art upgrade, we're going to be doing a really strong 2-week sprint in terms of really getting that out there and hopefully by the end of it, everyone's gonna know what's happening.
Nice. That's cool.
And with the art upgrade itself, I think that's going to be a potentially a really good mechanism to bring in new holders because it's going to be fun and people are going to have the ability to upgrade their chats with a chance of a 1 of 1 and other things too. And so like that is going to be coming up very soon here. We have a full marketing plan made up for that, and we're very excited to really get that going and get the content and us out there more and everything that we're doing. We're super excited for it.
So you are welcome to take up residency at Solana Side Up whenever you want, or come for one, whatever you want.
Awesome.
Just putting that out there from now.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Space. There was something else.
Every Monday or Friday.
Every Monday or Friday.
Beautiful.
Let's go. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's it. Okay, my last two questions that are closing every stream that we do here. Okay, so what's the question that you wish people would ask you but they never do? That's the reaction. I love the reaction of that question.
What do you think?
I don't know. I feel like people should ask us how we're doing more instead of
That's the number one answer.
What are our bags in the pump? Like, how are you doing? You know?
That is the number one answer, to be honest with you, which kind of tells you
that's to be expected. We knew that coming in.
State of humanity, I guess, in some ways.
That's cute. And so, how are you doing? Are you all good? Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, we're doing good. Thanks for asking.
Nice. A pleasure. And the second question is, who should be the next guest? And you can make the intro.
Who should be the next guest? I think you should get the Scriber team on.
Okay.
And I think you should really talk with them about what they're doing.
Nice.
Also, the Midnight Hub. That's a project that we're working with right now. They're making some really cool stuff that could actually be pretty good for you. They're making a Web3 streaming platform with a lot of different Web3 functionalities.
That's cool.
And so yeah, you should actually really talk with them.
Okay.
I think you'd really like what they're doing as well. Those are the sort of the two off the top of my head that I think could be some really good content.
Definitely
and then
interested
again.
And VP, if you can definitely co-host like the Scriber one, that's gonna be nice.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Let's go.
I forgot about Midnight Hub. I own one.
Ooh. And you need study again? You want to whale in?
No, I'm not gonna whale in. But speaking of whaling in, whale, when are we gonna see you buy some cats?
Me? I can put some liquidity on the side because after that stream I'm bullish on it. So it's on my ledger actually. So yeah, I can sweep the floor.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, I'm gonna make a tweet after that. Okay, let me just put that on my to-do list app. So it's gonna be here. FCC tweet. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Good question. Yeah, I love the question, Vipif. Always costing me money, but it's an investment, so it's good.
It's an investment. It's a good investment. I mean, if you wanna potentially get a couple of like cool looking ones, hit me and Aladdin up. We got some good ones
okay.
involved.
That's what. Okay, I should have put the liquidity on the side. We should have done that on stream. Fuck.
Yeah. No, it'll be good though.
We can go to shopping together for sure. That's for sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do you have any last word, any last announcement, any alpha that you want to drop in the last minute of the show?
No, I think we've talked about a lot in terms of what we're really looking to do, and I think like with everything that we have coming up and getting ready for this art upgrade, which is the next sort of big thing, just keep an eye out for that. Really look at the content that we're going to be pushing for that. Look for the announcement of Lynx and everything that we're going to be doing there. And then also, I mean, if anyone is looking to launch a project or looking for any sort of incubation help or marketing or tech with the development side that we have, hit us up and we'd love to talk. Okay. But we got a lot of cool shit coming, a lot of pretty cool partnerships actually coming up as well. So yeah, we're super excited for it.
Yeah, maybe I will contact you soon about that. That could be cool. So I can do less dev.
Yeah.
That could be. Do you have a swap trade? Like, can you swap trade between NFTs?
We haven't built that out yet. Okay. We're thinking about it actually for the larger software. But we haven't built that out yet. No.
Okay, that's okay. I can even.
The wheels are turning.
What?
The wheels are turning.
Yeah.
I see the wheels turning.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to have you on the show. I was looking forward to it, and it has not disappointed at all.
Yeah,
and definitely come back and definitely jump in the Discord.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'll see you in all the chats.
Yeah. No, thank you very much, guys. It's been a great time. Thanks for taking the time and having us on.
Thank you so much
for having us.
Yeah,
it's been a pleasure. Of course.
Pleasure. It's your channel now, and you can come back whenever you want. If you want to do a product announcement, product drop, anyway, just DM me, and then we can organize that right away.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So thank you so much, Vipif, again for this magnificent hosting that you have done and leading and emceeing the stream. Annie and Aladdin, thank you so much for being here and accepting the invitation. That was a nice stream. I really enjoyed it. That was cool. Thank you, everyone in the Twitter space audience and everyone who joined us on the YouTube chat. For every Fat Cat holders, you will have join our Discord. You will get whitelist. You want the whitelist because we're gonna to the moon. Let's go. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we will see you in the next stream. Bye.
Amazing.
Thanks. Take care.
Have a good one.
Bye.